Hello and welcome to another episode of Chuchu is a Ranker. On this episode we're going to be continuing our albums of the year list, this time for 1982. 1982, pretty great year, certainly much stronger than 1981. Lots of good records here for sure. So without further ado, let's be complete rankers and rank up a storm. These are my personal top 10 albums of 1982. So kicking off this list with The Party's Over by Talk Talk, which was Talk Talk's debut album. Of course, this is the weakest version of Talk Talk. Here, the band just kind of like a normal synth pop band. Later they would go all avant-garde and post-rock and inspire an entire generation of musicians with what they did on records like Spirit of Eden or The Laughing Stock. But here, yeah, it's just straight synth pop, but it's really good synth pop. The opening 3 tracks, Talk Talk, It's So Serious, Today, just absolutely fantastically catchy singles. You have a lot of really good album tracks on this as well. Hate in particular with its booming drums is awesome. Mirror Man, Another Word, all good stuff. But yeah, this is just a really nice 1980s synth pop record. Of course, again, the band would mature and become something like really phenomenal, but this is still a good debut from them. Nice stuff. So we have another 80s list where Neil Young gets a pass just through effortless charm alone, this time with the album Trans, which is Neil Young's science fiction futuristic album, a really weird one. He uses like a lot more synths and kind of more like angular guitar on this, and lots of effects on his voice like vocoders and stuff, and like often the pitch is altered, so yeah, really weird. But yeah, some really good songs on here. Little Thing Called Love, Computer Age, We Are in Control, Transformer Man, Computer Cowboy. Like really awesome songs. Hold On To Your Love, really beautiful. Like an Inca, like really weird closing track. Like an Inca, what the fuck does that mean? But still, like yeah, this record is like super charming. And really weird and unique. As I said on a previous entry about Neil Young, even when he's making bad records, they're like interestingly bad. This isn't considered to be one of his best albums, but I really enjoy it. There's just something undeniably just charming about this record. Plus, Transformer Man, just a beautiful song. I mean, the Flaming Lips just took that and just ran with it and became what they were. But yeah, Transformer Man, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I just like this record, and I can't really put my finger on it or tell you why. I just do. I just like it, and it's an easy placing on this list for me. Next up, we have the debut album by Orange Juice entitled You Can't Hide Your Love Forever. So this album is just incredibly influential and groundbreaking. It's got like a kind of nervous, hectic, punk arpeggiated guitar style that would later be capitalized on by the likes of the Smiths and R.E.M. And also the singer Edwyn Collins' melodic lines, like very Morrissey-esque, like kicking off a whole subgenre there. The singer of Belle and Sebastian very famously loves this band, and you can hear Belle and Sebastian all over this record without question. And this is just a good record. To be honest, a lot of the songs sound kind of similar on this, and I think it's kind of hard to distinguish song from song, but it's got a really good vibe to it, very angular, as I've already mentioned, very nervous sounding. The famous song I think from this is the opening track, Falling and Laughing, but everything beyond that is just variations on a theme, but it's a good theme and it's really rhythmic and it keeps your foot tapping. Yeah, and it's just a really great debut. Again, I think I respect this album more than I actually really like it, but without question this does deserve your respect because it just kicked off an entire genre of guitar bands, you know, and those are bands that I absolutely love with all of my heart. So yeah, mad props to Orange Juice for kicking off everything I loved about music for the next couple of decades. Next up, we have English Settlement by XTC, often regarded as XTC's masterpiece. Don't agree with that. I do not think this is XTC's best record, not by a long shot. However, I do really like it, but I'm just going to get this off my chest. Like, people seem to think that this is like the most English record ever, like it's some kind of bastion of like English sounding culture. People seem to think that this is like the King's Village Green Preservation Society or something, and it's just not English at all, in my opinion. It doesn't sound English at all. There's a lot of like jumbled rhythms and a lot kind of like some reggae influences in there and some experimentalism, and it just, you know, it doesn't have that traditional English flavor that people seem to associate it with, and that always confuses me and bugs me, to be honest. But that said, this is still a good record. I still really like it. Ball and Chain, really catchy. Senses working overtime. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Senses working overtime. I mean, that's one of the catchiest songs ever written. It's fantastic. Melt the Guns, really great. English Roundabout, fantastic. Like, so there's lots of good material on this. Yacht Dance as well, really cool. It is a double album, so like all double albums pretty much ever made, it has some dead weight amongst its tracks, but I think this is a really good record by XTC, but definitely not their best one. And, you know, but I'm not going to get all vengeful about it and kick it off the list, because it's still a damn good record, and I think this one is also a huge stepping stone onwards, really pushes their songwriting in a new direction, which they would take, and I think better on the next few releases. So yeah, good record, but not the bastion of English culture that everybody seems to think it is. That just annoys me. Next up we have The Dreaming by Kate Bush. So yeah, another kind of idiosyncratic effort by Kate Bush, which is when she's at her best, when she's being all weird and defying expectations. Although, to be honest, at some point you just expect weird stuff from Kate Bush, so, you know, is that defying expectations? I don't know. Anyway, this is a good record. Half of it is just absolutely spectacular. Like, the first 4 songs on here are just absolutely incredible. Sat in Your Lap, There Goes the Tenor, Pull Out the Pin, Suspended in Gaffer. Like, some of the best Kate Bush songs ever. Absolutely amazing. I think the rest of the record kind of like rides on the coattails of those first 4 songs, and I don't think the album ever really like recaptures the momentum of those 4 songs. But still, there's nothing bad on this album, and I think it's entertaining to the finish. And yeah, this is just a really strong Kate Bush album with that kind of distinct idiosyncratic style. Good stuff. Next up we have A Kiss in the Dream House by the best ever female fronted pop band of all time, Susie and the Banshees. Yeah, this is just another flawless record of post-punk and an absolutely fantastic follow-up to their masterpiece Juju. Great stuff. Not really much more to say about this. It's just a flawless album of post-punk. If you like post-punk, go check it out. It's brilliant. Cascade, Green Fingers, She's a Carnival, Melt. Oh my god, I love Melt. That's so awesome. Slow Dive, of course. The band Slow Dive took their name from the closing track on this album. It's just, yeah, absolutely fantastic. Not really much more to say about this. It's just an absolutely fantastic Susie and the Banshees album. If you know what Susie and the Banshees sound like, you know what this record sounds like. It's great. Go listen to it. And also, if you're a fan of The Cure and haven't heard Susie and the Banshees, man, just stop what you're doing. Go listen to this. It's awesome. Next up we have Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. This was Iron Maiden's 3rd album, and it's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, get used to seeing Iron Maiden on these lists while we're in the 80s, because not having Iron Maiden on these lists of best albums of the 80s is just fucking insanity, because they absolutely rule. Many people consider this to be the best Iron Maiden album. I've never thought that. Like, it's never been my favourite, but I really love it. Production is absolutely awesome, and it's stocked to the gills with absolutely classic songs. Invaders, Children of the Damned, Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, 22 Acacia Avenue, Number of the Beast, 666, like Run to the Hills, like Hallowed Be Thy Name, the closing track. Many people consider that to be the best Iron Maiden track of all time. Again, not mine, but still, the guitar riff on that, absolutely like incendiary, just brilliant stuff by Iron Maiden. You can probably hear I love Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden are one of my favorite bands of all time. So yeah, if you haven't heard this, like, you just absolutely need to drop what you're doing and go listen to it. It doesn't really matter what genre of music you like. Like, even if you don't like metal, this is still worth checking out because it's an absolute landmark release. It's absolutely phenomenal, and the only reason it isn't number one on this list is because, well, I just personally prefer the next couple of records. But still, that's no slight on this record. It's a 5-star masterpiece. It's brilliant. Do you know what time it is? It's New York Billy time. The bronze medal is going to go to Billy Joel for the Nylon Curtain. So this was Billy Joel's kind of like alternative rock experimental record. Now, I did a Chuchu as a ranker full ranking episode on Billy Joel, and in that episode I was kind of a bit down on this record, or a bit confused about it. Since then, the confusion has dissipated, and that confusion has turned to absolute love. I now think I really kind of mistook my placing of this record in that ranker episode, and would rank it a whole deal higher if I were to remake it, which I'm not going to do, let's be honest there. But yeah, I love this record. It's a 5-star masterpiece for me. I love every song on it. Like Allentown, fantastic single. Laura, beautiful Beatlesque kind of like acoustic ballad. Pressure, like absolutely brilliant, just amazing. Goodnight Saigon, the best track on this record. His Vietnam War song, you know, they said we'd all go down together. Just absolutely fantastic, emotional highlight, brilliant stuff. Surprises, Scandinavian Skies, really nice kind of like trippy Beatlesque stuff. Where's the Orchestra? Basically inventing the Divine Comedy before the Divine Comedy was an itch in its daddy's pants. This is just a pretty much flawless record. I love it, full of great songs, and what's more to say, just fantastic stuff by Billy Joel here. Next up, we have the silver medal going to Pornography by The Cure. This is The Cure's 4th album, and yeah, just the peak of their early kind of post-punk period. This record's an absolute masterpiece. I love it. I love every single track on it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Kicks off with 100 Years with that fantastic killer guitar riff, like wow, 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 wow. Oh yeah, just absolutely fantastic. Short-term effect, like really atmospheric, really dark. The Hanging Garden with its booming drums, a really great single. Siamese Twins, The Figurehead, more atmospheric stuff. A Strange Day, like absolutely loved that. I love the way like the brightness of the guitar, like especially in the middle 8, really brings a kind of like more upbeat feeling to that song, which is something the rest of the record kind of misses. And it really like, it's really impactful. Just a single ray of sunlight on this entire record is just like so impactful, and I think it's brilliant. I think whoever made and cultivated like the soundtrack for movies like The Crow really have an ear on this record. Fantastic stuff. Cold, again, a fantastic opening with those clinical drums and the orchestration, brilliant. Pornography, super atmospheric closer. I just think this is brilliant. One of the greatest post-punk records of all time. Why is this not number one? I don't know. Just talking about it here makes me want to put it at number one. But yeah, I still think number one is number one because it's fucking just amazing. But so is this record. Absolutely incredible stuff. If you like post-punk and you haven't heard this, what the fuck are you doing with your life? If you like post-punk and you haven't heard this, oh my god, nuclear explosion in the brain! But still, yeah, you've probably heard this if you like post-punk and you know why it's number 2. Fantastic stuff. So here we are at the top of the mountain, and the gold medal is going to go to Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest. Yeah, I absolutely fucking love this record. I think it's one of the greatest metal albums of all time, without question. I also think this is one of the most accessible metal albums of all time. Like, if you don't like metal and you're looking for like an in, this is the record for you. Like, this is absolutely the most accessible metal record probably of all time. I think one of the reasons for that is because one thing I don't like about metal is often they overwhelm you with just incessant, like, distorted guitar and high energy, and like it never ceases. But this record kind of like backs off on that a little bit. Not the energy so much, because this is a very energetic record, but this makes time for like really clean, like arpeggiated guitar lines, which I really appreciate. This album takes a little bit of time to breathe, and that makes all the difference in my opinion. Absolutely fantastic songs on this. There's not a single bad second on this entire LP. I think everything on it is absolutely brilliant. The Hellion and Electric Eye, amazing singles, blistering guitar solos, absolutely fantastic. Take these chains off, take them off of my heart. Like, super catchy, oh my god. You know, you've got another thing coming. You've got another thing coming. And that's the thing with this record, what I was saying about accessibility. You listen to this album like one time, you're gonna remember a whole bunch of choruses off this. Like, it's just absolutely brilliant. Like, again, I already said, not a bad song of this. I could run through the entire track listing, but that would be boring. Just go check this record out. Like, drop what you're doing, go check it out. Like, it doesn't, again, like I said with the Iron Maiden thing, it doesn't matter what genre you like. This record just deserves to be heard. And as I've already said, you're looking to get into metal, this is the record for you. This is absolutely brilliant. Non-stop fun, start to finish, everything you want from a metal record with none of the drawbacks. It's absolutely brilliant. 5-star masterpiece, and the best record for me of 1982. So that's my 1982 list, but that's obviously not your 1982 list. Please sound off in the comment section and tell me all the 5-star classics I've missed. I'm not superhuman. I haven't listened to every record from 1982, so, you know, you're probably well deserved. Tell me what's what. Like, share, subscribe, and all that other kind of YouTube jazz. Check back for my list for 1983. Keep yourself healthy, but most of all, just keep on ranking.